We start another episode of ThinkOf Chronicles, episode 4, and this one is freelance. In today's episode, I'll be talking about how I got into freelance and the steps I took to grow my portfolio, and also a very important thing is to learn how to manage the money and how to get paid, like in a more professional and a better way to do that, and also for future state taxes. So this was something that I thought about 3 years ago when I started getting my own art style, because I've been drawing for about 7 years, and then on my 8th year, I guess you could say, that's when I started figuring out my art style. And I was like, okay, you know what, I need to make money on this, because one, I need to start making a living, and two, I want to be showcased more as a professional artist, and put myself out there a lot more. So these are certain steps I took in order to get there, and I want to talk about like in the beginning, the very beginning of like the first thought of this, and also freelance is a very tough. It could be a very tough job, or you can make it very easy on yourself. And this is how I made it easier for myself. So what I did in the beginning, I was going to college at the time. And I had this teacher, graphic design teacher, who told me something that very, very stuck with me to this day. He said something around the lines of like, the more you know on your trade, the easier you will get jobs and hire, more opportunities to get hired. So if you know one thing, you could just get hired. But if they find somebody else about that's the one thing, then you're not really gonna get hired. Your chances are less. So what I did, I took that to heart. So I started learning different mediums within traditional and digital, and also styles in some way. So I started learning at that time was color pencil, watercolor, and black and gray. And then digital, I started learning how to do vector art, right? Which is graphic designing and also vector designs as well. And so I started learning doing that, and I knew that I need to do something in order to get paid, but it's not. I knew right away it was not gonna be a lot. It was not gonna be a lot, and this is like what I had to do. I did it for free or $5 of any design, any drawing, any painting. Like it is what it is, right? This is like, for me, I thought it was like, if I get hired more, and also because I'm doing it cheaper, I have more chance of getting hired. At the time, and it worked for me. And it worked for me because people were hiring me. People were like, oh yeah, you do it for free. All right, cool. Oh, $5. All right, cool. Here's $5. Here's what I want. And I did the best I could with those, right? I learned the trade. I got references, and like I started learning about stuff. And then I learned about Twitch. I was already streaming on Twitch, but what I noticed about Twitch was graphics on it. People had custom panels, custom overlays, custom screens, custom emotes, badges, etc. All that stuff. I noticed people had custom art, and I was like, I think I should get into this. Looks like there's a big majority of people that are looking for artists to create custom designs for streamers. So this was the biggest step I took with my freelance. And I'll explain how I found jobs too in a little bit. That's why I didn't really explain it earlier. So this was a big step. I decided to look, what are emotes? What are panels? At the time, there wasn't really badges or anything like that crazy. It was mostly for me. Of what I could get hired was very few emotes, since it was only for partners people at that time, and there was no affiliates at the time either. So yeah, so basically, I was like, okay, so I can't really get hired for emotes. I know partner streamers are not gonna hire me because you're looking for the top tier artists, right? And that's the way it is. You know what it is, but you don't dwell on that. So I said, okay, what can I do to stand out and be good and be better, and also, what can I bring? Panels. So I started looking at I did some panels like for fun for my channel. I did some overlays for my channel, and I used those things as my portfolio. to like people see something of like examples I've done, and so people could like, hey, I like what you did. Do you know who created that? Or like, I had those questions answered all the time on Twitch. Like they keep asking me like, who did that? How you did this? How you did that? Like, And I answered, oh, I did it, and then that's how I started getting my jobs a little bit, on Twitch, and then I figured, you know what? I need to start looking at other social medias. You never know, maybe you can find jobs, because I joined Twitch groups and stuff, and I noticed, hey, I'm looking for an artist to do this. I'm like, oh, hey, I could do it, and then like the more I did it, I got a lot of my jobs in the beginning on Facebook, and I don't know how, it's just like I started doing it, and then and like, because I was just commenting on every single post. I was looking every single day, and then the Facebook algorithm eventually caught up, and we're like, I started seeing those comments mostly now on the groups, and so now once I had like more of a portfolio now, and then I was like, okay, you know what, I'm getting into this, I'm figuring things out, and like figuring out how to get jobs, and the way I got to get jobs, like I said, it was Facebook, and then I moved to Twitter. Facebook, Twitter, and then I moved to Instagram, and then I started, and to this day, I moved Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also Twitch as well. And so I use all these different social media platforms in order to find jobs. There's so many people that want to hire artists on all these different platforms, and they're not all the same people. They're all different people for the most part, because not that many people cross over to each platform. So that's one of the things I would say is like, if you want to get hired, use as much platforms as you can, because I'm also starting to use Reddit as well, and I'm very new to Reddit, but it is a big place, guys. And also LinkedIn is another big place as well. So that's the big thing. But yeah, so that's how I found jobs. And then so what I was doing is, every single job that I got, if I felt like the email was better and my quality of like, not just emails, but like my quality of my artwork was getting better, I put that in my portfolio, I put that in my template, and keep updating my templates to put them out there. So I'm gonna show you guys what I mean by that. So these are some of the templates. I'm gonna block a little bit on the drawing, and then on the painting will be up there, but I want to let you guys focus on the right side first. The reason is because this is where I started. So when I started doing freelance, like I said, I was updating every single thing that I felt like it looked better and a better quality. I'm not saying, like, I mean, I will say now my emails were not as good as I do now, and I don't want to sound conceited, but it's like the time and the effort that I put into this and keep updating this. You will notice the change in the quality of your artwork if you continue doing it. So I started updating everything, right? I added my best emotes, badges, panels as of right now, and then I have a portfolio where I showcase like overlays, screen alerts, also like stuff like that, right? And so the more I did it, the more portfolio the more of like better the portfolio has gotten, right? So it's like one of my latest templates right now. So this is what I use right here to like put my stuff out there and put my work out there. So you have your emails, your badges, and your panels. Those are like the three big main that I get hired for. And also, and then like that, so you do overlays, yeah, boom, I got my examples for that too as well. So you always could, like, just because it doesn't have everything on there, like overlays, profile pictures, or banners, stuff like that, that is complete fine. You could also make another template to have that too as well, which I do have it. I just wanted to post these three because they're the big main three. And then you can have that too as well. And what you guys will notice, I have prices for my traditional art and I don't have prices for my digital. Reason is because I found out, for some reason, in digital, like, people don't like it when you see prices on a template. I'm not saying that's a fact. This is just my experience, guys. Because they want to find out the price after you talk to them, and you know, you talk about your art and stuff like that, and then you give your price. For some reason, that always worked better for me. I always get hired like that instead of like me putting my prices on there. For some reason, I don't know why, it's just like that. Because also in a weird way, they also give me an opportunity to seal the deal, right? Because like, you're like, okay, I do this is my example, stuff like that. You talk to them, and they kind of like, okay, cool, like, and then what your price is, they most likely will say yes, especially if you win them over with your art, right? So it's like, even if you say like maybe like a little bit higher price, be like, all right, let's do it. You know, like they would just do it. And that's what I've learned. And I'm not saying it's gonna work for everybody, but that's what I've just learned. And that's what I continue doing. And so yeah, that's what I do. And one of the things I do to like kind of like soften or like to be more agreeable for the price is like I do a little bit extra work. I do free sketches. To this day, I do free sketches. It's like, oh, it's like free sketch. You're wasting a lot of your time. Not really, because I only waste like 30 seconds, a minute to do a sketch. And I still have some of my books right here, which I can show you guys right here, of like kind of sketches I've done. This is like old stuff right here, guys. Right? So I've done sketches like this, super quick, nothing crazy. Just do quick sketches, like nothing too crazy. Just do quick sketches, get the idea out, boom, boom, boom. And just get it out there, and so that's what I did. I just did. I do free sketches, and they go, oh, yeah, I actually like it. I really think that this is dope. I want to hire you. So that's what I do to this day. Like I said, it's not everyone wants to do that because it is time. You are spending your time, your precious time of doing art. You know what I mean? So and then you may not even get hired. So I do understand why artists do charge for like to just do a sketch, like even if it's not a lot, but I know why do they charge. I don't, because I just want to like, you know, I have a lot of confidence in myself that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get hired for the most part nowadays. But yeah. So that is part of the freelance thing that I want to bring in, how I get into freelance. But here is the next thing, the last thing, the biggest thing, guys. Money exchanges, and taxes. Alright guys, so money is a big thing, of course, when you start doing freelance, right? And you want to be professional. And here's my personal opinion. Here are my mistakes I've done in the beginning of doing freelance. Luckily, I never really got like ripped off from a lot of people. I got ripped off from here and there. It is what it is. That's part of freelance. But here's a way that I protected myself. So in the beginning, what I did was like I to this day, I usually just use PayPal for the most part, and it's also okay. You want to do Venmo or Cash App now too as well. But yeah, I did PayPal. I just did friends thing. Just send me the money and I'll get started. No. I'll work on the work, finish it, and then send me the money after. And that is very dangerous to do that. That was very, very dangerous. But luckily, I didn't really get ripped off because it wasn't a lot of money. It wasn't a lot at the time. And so yeah, that's the way I did it. And then I realized, you know what? I need to take myself more serious. And also, I gotta like when I felt like I was like at a new level, I was like, you know what? I need to start charging more, right? But I can't continue doing the friends and thing, right? Like, because I feel like because if you do that way, people cannot refund the money, which is that protects me. But for them, it's like, oh, I don't know, right? Because you're talking to a stranger at the end of the day. So what I started doing was start using the PayPal commissions form. So I started filling out the form, you know, what they wanted, this and that, and also there's like a bottom like student service, you want to fill that out, which I do to a certain extent, like where I usually just say it's personal use or commercial use, which I have a like a small contract for that, like a Word document, stuff like that, just for instead of on PayPal, because I feel like that's better, me personally. But yeah, so I started doing that, and I started charging more and more every single year, because like the more work you do and the more you get known, you wanna keep rising your prices. You don't want to stay the same for obvious reasons. You want to keep rising your prices, whether it's double, triple, like 5 times. Like I have like for my emails, I started free from $5 to I charge to like $25 each email now. And so yeah, so you just gotta start pay attention to that thing too. You sort of like giving yourself a raise, and the way I give myself a raise is almost every single year I raise my prices. If my quality and my drawings or my designs have gone up, I go, yep, I'm raising it $5, $5, $20, $30. It depends what kind of medium you're working on. And so yeah, so that's what like that's one of the things I do now. Is like when you, like, because it makes them a lot safer now, right? Because since you're raising your prices, you're charging a lot more. So they're taking, like, for them it's a big risk because you're a stranger still. So like by doing commissions on, like, for example for me on PayPal, it gives them like okay, here's like a receipt kind of thing. Here's recorded and all that. Like you're for sure not gonna like run off with the money and just dip, for the most part. And another thing, what gave them security was I'm a streamer, right? I have nowhere to hide. So if anything bad happened, for some reason I forgot to do it, which never has happened, by the way. But for some reason, if it does happen, like, hey man, are you done working with my piece and stuff, like, they could literally reach me on live streaming. So that's another security thing where, like, people will feel, oh yeah, you know what, he's a streamer. Because like if I rip somebody off and I'm a streamer, my way of thinking is like, dude, they're gonna come to my stream and then put me on blast, right? And then my viewers, my community will be like, wow, this guy cheated this guy on this, wow, you know what I mean? So that's like, I was like, oh yeah. So I of course I would never do something like that, but that gives them an extra security to them because they feel more comfortable and more like, okay, yeah, I'm down to do it. And by the time, like, when you start growing doing freelance, for my experience was like, the more you do it, the more confidence people got ahead of you, and the more examples you had, the more like you got, like, people posting on social media and stuff like that. Your name's getting out there. You're like, oh yeah, this guy's good. This guy's gonna do it. He was a phenomenal job. And here's the work he's done for me and stuff like that. So it gives people more security now because people are seeing your work out there and people actually hire you and they're like, okay, yeah, this guy hired him, and he did a really good job. All right, I'm going with him. So yeah, that's like the one thing that I will say to, like, people that are getting into freelance. Make them feel comfortable as much as possible you can. Never try to pressure them to like go full on in, like, with the price. Never go on price first. But that's just my opinion, guys. Remember, guys, freelance is a broader way of doing things for freelance. There's a lot of ways, but this is my way. I never went in with the price first. I always went with, like, what kind of artwork you want to do, this and that, and then I tell my price. I also never charge full price. I think that's like a universal thing with artists now. It's like you never charge full price. Charge like 50%, 30%, depends on the project. So it's like, just in case they decide to cancel, ghosting you, or anything like that, right? Or they change their mind, which does happen. Look, that's never really happened to me before. But people have ghosted me, but they paid me half, which is a weird thing. But yeah, because, like, in the terms you put, like, there's no refunds on the deposit, pretty much. There are no refunds whatsoever. Even if you barely start drawing, you still put in the work. You start doing the work. So that protects you. You make some money just in case something happens. They can't do it no more. They go to whatever happens. At least you will get some money in return for your time. So that's just one thing. And the other thing would be taxes. The thing is about doing commissions, like the way I do it, like, everything's recorded. You don't have to do it a PayPal way, but having everything recorded, your taxes is gonna be a lot easier to do because everything's recorded. Boom, boom, boom. Everything's done. You add, you know what I mean, and you don't do that much work at the end of the year, and that's what I do. And that's what helps me. Like, having commission forms is a very, very good thing to do, especially like having receipts, because now you have everything recorded. Boom, and get ready for get ready for the taxes stuff. Oh god, taxes. But yeah. So so I pretty much talk about, like, a lot of stuff. So I'm just gonna break it down, like, quick, fast summary. So the way I got into freelance was getting into digital graphics for Twitch. And the way I found jobs was Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Those three social medias. That's how I found my jobs. Where I post hashtags, stuff like that, or even commenting on people's posts when people are asking for artists. And that's how I started finding my jobs. That's how I started getting into freelance. Was literally digital, not traditional, digital. Because I knew at that time my traditional was not gonna cut it. Where people want to hire me And for the most part, they didn't want to hire me. And that's what I felt, right? My confidence was low on my traditional art. But now it's like the more you do it, the more you get comfortable, the more you get more confidence, and like the more, especially if you figure out your own art style, something that makes you unique, you will get hired more definitely for sure. If you bring in something unique to the table, guys, they will come. They will come for you more because you're not doing what everybody else is doing. You're doing something new. You're bringing something fresh to the table, right? So that is one thing that I've learned. It's like I'm just doing my own art style, my own characters and stuff like that, and people who love it. And it's still growing to this day. And like I'm still gonna keep grinding. I'm still gonna put in the work and stuff like that. But it's like since I do something in my own art style, people are like, oh yeah, I want that, I like that, I want to pay for that. And yeah, like the more the more uniqueness you bring into the table, the more of a bigger chance you have for people coming to you, right? Especially like if you're not doing something the same thing that everybody else is doing, you're bringing something new to the table. Even if you're not experienced as bigger artists, you still have a little edge because you're doing something unique and something new, something fresh, and that's how I've been surviving this all this time. But yeah, so freelance is again, this is it's a broad question. It's like there's not really the right answer how you get into it. You could just take on like artists how they got into it and then take that from you and experiment and figure out what works for you. But yeah, that's the way I did it, guys. But yeah. So that's what freelance is for the most part for me. It is a very tough thing. It's not for everybody. It's very stressful because you never know you're gonna get paid. So like the thing is, you gotta continue grinding, growing, and not quitting, and not be you're gonna have discouragements and stuff like that. But if you continue growing, if you keep practicing and growing your stuff and putting the quality of your work, people will come and people will support you. So that's pretty much it for this episode. If you guys have any other questions, like more of like any other questions that I think I missed, or you want more of a broader, like more like a written answer, leave a comments below. And yeah, hope you guys hit the follow, subscribe, hit the bell button for the next Think of Art Chronicles episode, which also we'll bring in more content for this channel, not just with Think of Art Chronicles now, because I could actually vector a lot, not vector, export a lot more, which will be more time-lapse videos, and also reaction videos of other art channels, and I'll explain that more later, and also a podcast of artists. So keep a lookout for those that kind of stuff, guys. So this is the end of the episode of Freelance. And the next episode I'll be talking about is being discouraged. And I'm gonna explain that on episode 5. It's gonna be something that I explain like all the times I got discouraged, and the reasons why I got discouraged, and why that is okay to be discouraged at certain times. And I'll explain why it's okay to be discouraged, because it happens. We're all human. And I'll explain that more in more detail, guys. So next episode is gonna be a doozy. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching. Peace out, much love. I'll see you next time. What am I, this baby now? Bye. Woo!